Listen up, because what I'm about to share with you will completely change how you understand attraction. And here's the thing. Most guys have it completely backwards. They think being hot means having perfect abs, or driving an expensive car, or being the loudest person in the room. But women are paying attention to completely different things. Things so subtle you probably don't even realize you're doing them. And if you are doing them, there's a good chance women around you are already thinking you're incredibly attractive without you having any clue. These aren't the obvious things everyone talks about. These are the psychological triggers that make a woman's brain light up when she's around you. The small behaviors that separate average guys from the ones women can't stop thinking about. So pay attention, because if even half of these describe you, I guarantee there are women in your life right now who think you're way hotter than you realize. 1. You listen more than you talk. Here's something most men get wrong. They think being interesting means talking about themselves constantly, telling stories, trying to impress everyone with their accomplishments. But the guy women find irresistibly hot does the opposite. He asks questions and actually listens to the answers. He remembers what women tell him and follows up on it later. When she mentions she's stressed about a work presentation, he asks how it went a week later. When she talks about her favorite book, he actually seems curious about why she loved it. This isn't just being polite. This is psychological catnip to women. Because most people in their lives, including most men they meet, are just waiting for their turn to talk. But you're actually interested in who she is as a person. Women notice this immediately, and it makes you stand out in a way that's incredibly attractive because it shows confidence. You're not desperately trying to prove yourself. You're secure enough to be genuinely curious about others. 2. You're comfortable with silence. Most guys panic when there's a lull in conversation. They fill every quiet moment with nervous chatter or try to be entertaining constantly. But here's what women find incredibly sexy: a man who's comfortable with silence. When you're walking together and no one's talking, you don't feel the need to fill the space with meaningless words. When you're sitting together, you can just exist in the moment without making it awkward. This comfort with silence signals something powerful to women. It shows you're confident in yourself. You don't need constant validation or attention. You're secure enough to just be present. Women interpret this as emotional maturity and inner strength, and that's incredibly attractive because it's so rare. Most people are uncomfortable with quiet moments, but you've somehow mastered the art of peaceful presence. 3. You have boundaries and stick to them. This one's huge, and most guys completely miss it. Women are incredibly attracted to men who have clear boundaries and actually enforce them, not in an aggressive way, but in a calm, confident way. When someone tries to take advantage of your time, you politely but firmly say no. When people cross lines, you address it directly without getting emotional. When someone tries to guilt trip you into doing something you don't want to do, you don't cave. This isn't about being difficult or inflexible. It's about having enough self-respect to know your own limits and communicate them clearly. Women find this incredibly hot because it shows you value yourself, and if you value yourself, she can trust that you'll value her too. It also shows you won't be a pushover in the relationship, which creates the kind of masculine energy women are naturally drawn to. 4. You notice small details about her. Not just the obvious things like her hair or outfit, but the subtle things that show you're actually paying attention. You notice when she's had a stressful day even if she hasn't said anything. You pick up on her mood changes. You remember her preferences. When you're ordering coffee together, you remember she likes oat milk. When you're choosing a restaurant, you remember she mentioned being vegetarian weeks ago. When she's wearing a new perfume, you notice and compliment it. This level of attention makes women feel seen and valued in a way that goes beyond surface-level attraction. It shows you're the type of person who notices and cares about the people in your life. 5. You're genuinely happy for other people's success. This might seem random, but women are watching how you react when good things happen to others. Do you genuinely celebrate your friends' achievements, or do you get jealous and competitive? Do you support the people around you, or do you try to one-up them? Women find it incredibly attractive when a man is secure enough in himself to be genuinely happy for others, because it shows emotional maturity and confidence. If you can celebrate someone else's success, It means you don't see life as a zero-sum game. This kind of emotional generosity is rare, and women notice it immediately because it tells them you'd be the type of partner who would support their dreams rather than compete with them. 6. You have your own interests and passions. Here's what makes you attractive. It's not that you're trying to impress anyone with your hobbies. It's that you have things you genuinely care about. Whether it's cooking or rock climbing or reading or playing guitar, you have pursuits that matter to you. Women find this incredibly sexy because passion is attractive. When you talk about something you love, your whole energy changes. You become more animated, more interesting, more alive. But here's the key. You're not doing these things to get women. You're doing them because they genuinely interest you, and that authenticity is what makes it so attractive. 7. You're comfortable being alone. This one separates boys from men. Women are incredibly attracted to guys who enjoy their own company, who don't need constant social stimulation or validation to feel good about themselves. You can go to dinner alone without feeling awkward. You can spend a weekend by yourself without getting lonely. You have a rich inner life, and you're comfortable with who you are when no one else is around. This shows incredible emotional maturity and self-confidence because it means you're choosing to be with people rather than needing to be with people. And that makes any time spent with you feel like a gift rather than a desperate grasp for companionship. 8. You admit when you don't know something instead of pretending to be an expert on everything or trying to fake knowledge you don't have. You're comfortable saying, "I don't know," or "That's not my area of expertise." This honesty is incredibly attractive to women because it shows intellectual humility and genuine confidence. Most insecure guys feel like they have to have opinions on everything or pretend to know more than they do. But when you're secure enough to admit the limits of your knowledge, it actually makes you seem more trustworthy and intelligent, not less. 9. You treat service workers with respect. Women are always watching how you treat people who can't do anything for you. The waiter, the cashier, the Uber driver, the person cleaning the office building. If you're polite and respectful to everyone regardless of their social status, women notice this immediately because it shows your character when you think no one important is watching. This kind of basic human decency is actually rare enough that it stands out, and it tells women everything they need to know about what kind of person you really are. 10. You have your own style without trying too hard. You dress well, but you're not obsessed with brands or trends. You have a sense of what looks good on you, and you stick to it without needing constant validation or attention. This could be as simple as always wearing clothes that fit properly, or having a signature scent, or just carrying yourself with confidence regardless of what you're wearing. Women notice when a man has put thought into how he presents himself without being vain or high maintenance about it. 11. You remember what matters to her? Not just the big things, but the small daily details. She mentions she has an important meeting, and you check in to see how it went. She's nervous about visiting her parents, and you ask about it later. She's excited about a new project, and you follow up. This shows you value her enough to keep track of what's happening in her life, and that level of care and attention is incredibly attractive because it's so rare. 12. You can laugh at yourself. When you make a mistake or do something embarrassing, you can laugh about it instead of getting defensive or trying to cover it up. This shows incredible confidence and emotional maturity. Women find this incredibly attractive because it shows you don't take yourself too seriously, and you're secure enough to be human and imperfect around others. 13. You have opinions, but you're not argumentative. You know what you believe, and you can express it clearly, but you're not trying to convince everyone else to agree with you. You can have a conversation about controversial topics without getting heated or personal. This balance of having convictions while remaining respectful shows emotional intelligence and maturity that women find very attractive. 14. You're generous with compliments but not desperate. When you notice something genuinely nice about someone, you say it. But you're not constantly trying to butter people up or win approval through flattery. Your compliments feel genuine because they are, and because you don't give them constantly, they carry more weight when you do. 15. You're present in conversations. When someone is talking to you, you're actually there. You're not checking your phone or looking around the room or thinking about what you want to say next. You're genuinely engaged with the person in front of you. This level of presence is incredibly rare in our distracted world, and women notice immediately when they have your full attention because it makes them feel valued and heard. Here's what this all means. None of these things require you to change who you fundamentally are. They're all about becoming the best version of yourself and treating others with genuine respect and interest. The men women find hottest aren't necessarily the most physically attractive or the most successful. They're the ones who make them feel good about themselves when they're around them. These subtle behaviors all point to the same underlying qualities: emotional maturity, genuine confidence, and authentic interest in others. And those qualities are incredibly attractive regardless of what you look like or how much money you make. The best part is, these aren't pickup techniques or manipulation tactics. They're just ways of being a better, more attractive person in general, which will improve every area of your life, not just your dating life. So start paying attention to these things, not because you're trying to get women, but because they'll make you a better person. And better people are naturally more attractive to everyone around them. Remember, attraction isn't just about looks or status. It's about how you make people feel. And if you can master these subtle behaviors, you'll be amazed at how differently people respond to you. The question is, how many of these do you already do, and which ones could you work on? Because the difference between being just another guy and being the guy women can't stop thinking about often comes down to these small but powerful details.